Hello friends, today we are going to discuss another interview problem, that is maximum Subarray problem, and we are going to solve it using Kadane's algorithm. Okay, so what is maximum Subarray problem? It's a task of finding contiguous subarray within one dimensional array of numbers which has the largest sum. Okay, so you have given a array of integers, right? For example, here, so you have given the array of integers, and you have to find the maximums, find the subarray which has the maximum sum. Okay, so obviously we have positive and negative numbers here, because if all numbers are positive, the subarray which has the maximum sum includes all the array elements, right? Because all are positive, so we'll add them and return that. um, so here we have few negative numbers and few positive numbers, and we have to find the contiguous subarray. So subarray is part of array which is contiguous. Okay, so for example, this is one subarray, this is one subarray, single element itself is a subarray. Okay, and the maximum length of the subarray could be the same size of the array, like this is also one of the subarray. Okay, so we have to find the subarray which has the largest sum. Okay, so here we can see that this subarray 4 minus 1 2 1, which has the sum 6. So this subarray has the maximum sum. So now let's see how we are going to solve this. So naive solution, or the brute force solution, would be to use two for loops and check every subarray. Okay, so use nested for loop. So outer for loop will decide the starting point of the subarray, and the inner for loop decide the length of the subarray. So let's say the outer loop is fixed at 3, then inner for loop will decide the subarray starting with 3. So minus 3 4, minus 3 4, minus 1, and so on, and keep track of the maximum sum of the subarray and return that. So the time complexity here would be O of n squared. Can we reduce it? Yes. There are multiple solutions to solve this problem in O of n. In this article, we are going to solve using Kadane's algorithm. Okay, so now let's see what Kadane algorithm is. Okay, so let's say this is the given array. Okay, so in Kadane algorithm, um, we'll have two variables. Okay, one is called current sum, okay, and max sum. Let's say both are initialized to 0 at the beginning. Okay, so the idea is iterate this element, okay, from left to right, and keep adding element to the current sum. Okay, and if any point the current sum becomes less than 0, we will make it 0, and keep comparing current sum and the max sum, and if max sum is less than the current sum, update that. Okay, and at the end the max sum is going to be our final answer. Okay, so let's do a walkthrough. So current sum is 0, and the max sum is also 0. Okay, so add the first element, so this will become minus 2, and now the minus 2 is less than 0, so we'll make it 0, which is same as max sum. Next element is 1, so we'll add 1 here, so now the max sum is 1. Okay, sorry, the current sum is 1. Okay, now max sum is less than the current sum, so we'll update the max sum to 1. Okay, now the next element is minus 3, so when we do this, the current sum becomes minus 2, And now again this is less than 0, so we'll make it 0, and we'll not update the max sum because it is greater than the current sum. Now element 4, so we'll add 4 here, so the current sum becomes 4. Now max sum is less than the current sum, so we'll change the max sum to 4. Now minus 1, so 4 minus 1, so this becomes 3. So current sum becomes 3, which is less than the max sum, so we'll not update the max sum. Okay, so during iteration, any point the max sum gives you the maximum sum of subarray which we have seen so far. Okay, so for example, now we have done the iteration at this point. Okay, so let's say this is the array which was given to us, minus 1, right? So what would be the maximum subarray? This 4, right? Which is equal to the max sum. Now next element 2, so we'll add 2, so this becomes 5. So time to update the max sum to 5. Okay, now the next element is 1, so plus 1, so the current sum becomes 6, so the max sum becomes 6. Now the minus 5, so 6 minus 5 is 1, which is less than the max sum, so we'll not update it. And 4, so plus 4, this becomes 5, which is still less than the max sum, so we'll not update the max sum. Okay, so now we have done with the iteration, and this is going to be our final answer, right? Which is this. So now let's go back to the problem. Yeah, Kadane's algorithm. So max sum is 0 and the current sum is 0, and we are doing the iteration, and keep adding element to the current sum, and if current sum becomes less than 0, we'll make it 0. Also check if the max sum is less than the current sum, update the max sum to equal to the current sum, and at the end return the max sum. Okay, so this is the walkthrough of the same example which we have just seen. So you can look at it later, and this algorithm works only if there is one positive element in the array, right? Why? Because when the sum becomes less than 0, we'll reduce it to 0, right? And in case of array in which all the elements are negative, the current sum will always be negative. Okay, so in that we can easily modify this code to work when all the elements in the array are negative. So in that case, assign the first element to the max sum and the current sum, and do the iteration for rest of the array, right? And for current sum, add the element to the current sum and compare it with the current element itself, and whichever is maximum, that will be the current sum. And then update the max sum by comparing the max sum and the current sum. So if you see, essentially what we are doing here is we are just picking one element, right? Because we are comparing it with the element itself, right? So since all the elements are negative, the maximum subarray would be the maximum element in the array. So let's say we have minus 1, minus 2, minus 1, and minus 3. So minus 1 is going to be our answer, because if we add any other element, minus 2 or minus 3, the sum would be less than minus 1, right? So essentially what we can do here is we can iterate the array and pick the element which is maximum and return that. because all the elements in the array are negative. Okay, so now let's look at the code. So this is our function for Kadane's algorithm. So it's taking array as an input. So max sum and current sum is 0. Do the iteration, keep adding element to the current sum. If current sum is less than 0, make it 0, and compare it with the max sum and update the max sum if it is less than the current sum. At the end, return max sum. And this is when all the elements are negative. Okay, so now let's run this code. So here we have two examples. Here all elements are negative, and here it's a mix of positive and negatives. So if we run that, okay, so max subarray is 10. So 1, 2 negated by this 3, and then -4 and 2, 7, -2 and 3. Okay, so this is the subarray. 2, 7, 9, -2, 7, and then 3. So this becomes 10. So here when all the elements in the array are negative, the maximum element in the array would be the subarray which has the maximum sum, which is -2 in this case. Okay, so yeah, now we can mark this problem as completed, and visit our website tutorialhorizon.com for more interview problems. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.